Sometimes I see some of these names crop up and I see the guys fight them and they beat them and they reel off and like this, what, really, what? You know, come on, what are you doing here?
You have to train hard to fight hard, but these guys don't always get the best deal, as our grumpy old MMAers know all too well.
Do the fighters get paid enough? No. Do the referees, judges, officials, everybody else get paid enough? Promoters get paid enough? No. Do you know why? Because it's a minority sport. And I know that everybody would like to think that this is some huge sport, but it's still a minority sport. Your average show sells maybe 1,000 tickets. That isn't a big sport. Darts sells more. Yeah, there are more people go to watch horse jumping.
It comes down to the money that's in the sport at the moment. It's like anything, you know. At the lowest of the low, you know, it is virtually non-existent, and it is it is funded by the fighters. You know, the rewards just aren't there.
Fighters' pay is, it's a tough one because at this, the domestic shows it's difficult because you speak to promoters and it's not like they're all making loads of money. You know, it's not an easy game, unfortunately. Unless you sell a lot of tickets at the domestic level, you're definitely going to struggle.
I also find it funny where you've got fighters thinking they should be paid more and nobody wants to see them. You know, and given an opportunity to sell their own tickets, they can sell 5 tickets. Well, you know, why should you be paid any more if that's all you can sell? That's the number of people. Promoters got to sell tickets. You've got to put people on the seats.
Me wearing your T-shirt, that does not make me sponsored, right? Yeah, I know what you're doing. Look, you can't, you know. A sponsor, again, it implies financial.
For me, I think one of the most annoying things is that, you know, you're getting guys now that are just taking advantage. You know, I think if you're going to go in and fight, and you work hard, and you're trying to be someone in this industry, and you want to work your way to the top, and it must be so frustrating. You're seeing some guy just to turn up, you know, won't name names, but you know the sort of guys that will go pull guard, let the other guy hit them and tap. And they'll sit there and walk away with what, you know, probably more than most other people in that card because they come in last minute.
You know, I've seen a journeyman get a slap in and, you know, roll over in 15 seconds, and he's been paid more for that, you know, for that privilege than I've ever been paid in the UK for a fight.
So journeyman's an interesting one because there's 2 different types of journeymen. There are a journeyman who turn up to lose, yeah, lethal fall, cage, Liverpool, whatever you decided to call yourself today. You turn up to lose, that's all you do. So at the end of the day, you know, why should anybody put you on a card?
Yeah, independent fighters. Yeah, independent fighters. No, do we want them? No, we don't. Journeyman, don't get me started on journeyman. People don't know what a journeyman is. A lot of people don't know what a journeyman is. I can count probably on my one hand how many genuine journeymen there are in the sport.
Journeyman fighters and journeyman teams, they have a place in the sport. You know, some of these guys are just, if they were to wind their neck in a little bit, go back to the gym for 6 months, they could be, you know, decent fighters, but they're out there every week and they have a place in the sport, as they do in boxing, as they do in every other sport. Kickboxing, I mean, they're a journeyman in kickboxing, Thai boxing, boxing, it is part of the sport, and that's the way that these guys make their living.
So you don't let short at the moment. You don't want a cat off, do you? You don't want them turning up and smashing your tickets.
No one needs Maximus, Matt.
No, they don't, do they? Grinder himself, you're there his debut, weren't you?
It was emotional.
You have a singlet on?
He did have a tucked-in Ukrainian wrestling singlet. And that's the type of journeyman we want to see at the end of the day.
Yeah,
if you have that tucked-in singlet, I don't want to know about it.
I'll say it into it. It's legit.
There's so many more shows, there's so many more dates, but there isn't enough fighters there. And, you know, I've heard ridiculous things like fighters going up to the rest of their team or going up to another team boasting that they earned $2 grand, you know, or more the previous month just by basically being a cam. You know, it doesn't do anyone any justice, and it just makes a mockery of us all.
A guy who turns up week in, week out and gets blasted out in 20 seconds, that's not a journeyman, mate. That's a fucking bomb, okay? That's something entirely different. A journeyman is a genuinely dangerous guy who knows his way around.
Alternatively, and this is going to shock a few people, look at somebody like Mike Purcell. Mike Purcell doesn't turn up to lose. He's just useless. Yeah, but he doesn't turn up to lose. If he could come out and knock you out, he would damn well knock you out. And there's other fighters like that, you know, that people would class as journeymen, but when you put them in the cage, if they had the capabilities to win, you know, they would win.
I mean, I've seen a few guys turn up, you know, just jeans, a jacket. One guy had like a small orange juice instead of a water bottle, and I thought to myself, hang on a second. And like, you know, there's been loads where the corner people are actually texting on their phones throughout the whole fight, and like not even really looking up, and their poor mate's getting weighed in.
What I will say is, if you have got a reputation as a guy who turns up, hangs your arse out, gives out, takes your money and goes home, I'm going to put, you know, I've said it before, a lot of heat gets put on the promoters for bringing in these people, and yes, rightly so, but it doesn't end there, because the coach and the fighter involved still has to say yes. They can still say no, and go, no, I don't want this.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going in there as well, you know, using 3 different names or 4 different names, then yeah, again, for me, you're robbing the punters, you're robbing the show, you're robbing everything. You know, it's ridiculous.
But the guys that turn up to lose, do you know what? The only reason they're getting opportunities is because promoters aren't thinking out of the box a little bit more and aren't saying, you know, I'm just not having these guys in the cage.
You know, if you're consistently just putting on bad matchups, you know, you're not building the image of the sport right for casual fans, which is ultimately where your show will succeed, is if you can get people coming back regularly because they get good fights.
You know, we all know who they are, but sometimes they can pull a shock. You know, they really, really can.
Yeah, look, I mean, like I said, you know, the word professional in the UK, people go, I'm a professional fighter. No, you're not, mate. No, you're not a professional fighter. As I said, for mixed martial arts in the UK, professional determines the rules in which you fight under. It doesn't mean this is your sole source of income.
You know, in a way they serve a purpose, but you know, it's as a last resort, and if you actually want to build a fan base and you want people coming back for genuine reasons, then, you know, I think we can do without them.